But the main purpose of this video is to go through the list of why and when you should start training your dog. Before you start training your dog, one thing that I believe it's important for you to remember is that if you're a new dog owner or whatever, you have a dog, you had a dog before, or you have a dog now, it's always good to find a dog trainer or a dog training system that gives you the option of being educated in a form of the psychology and also the idea of the system and the techniques that you're going to use to train your dog before you actually start training your dog. So you have to be comfortable enough to start training your dog, comfortable enough to use the techniques and the ideas that the dog trainer is going to use, and then you start using those techniques and ideas to train your dog. So it's very important to first decide what you want, how you want to do it, and when you're going to do it, and then select a dog trainer that you agree with, and you agree with their system and agree with their techniques that they're going to use, um, and then start training your dog. But also, you have to remember that 60% of dog training, when we talk about dog training, the 60% of dog training is the dog owner training, and the other 40% is actually training the dog. So in a way, training a dog is easier than training a dog owner, a human being. The reason for that is because the dog owner has to learn the concept and the idea of dog training itself, and then implement those ideas on the dog, that their own dog. You can't, because you're the one, or the dog owner is the one who's actually training the dog, not the trainer. Trainer is just giving you the ideas, the technique, showing you things, but you as a dog owner are the one who working on the dog, hopefully, and living with the dog, hopefully 24/7. So you're the one who's actually uh, practicing and training the dog. So therefore, you are very important in this idea of learning what to do and how to do these things. So the first reason um, that you should start learning to train your dog, as I said, is first reason is educating yourself. So the first reason you should start training your dog, or when you should start training your dog, is before you actually get your dog. I know it's kind of weird that I'm suggesting that. You haven't got your dog and you're starting to train yourself or your dog. Basically, you're training yourself. You have to learn about dogs in general. You have to know psychology of dog. You have to know how dogs learn, what dogs need, for example, and you need to learn about dogs in general. For example, you need to know how to do potty training or crate training before you get a dog, not after you get a dog, because you need to know these uh, ideas and techniques of how to potty train a puppy, for example, or how potty train a dog before you get a dog. Because once you get a dog, it's too late. You don't know what you're supposed to do, and by the time that the dog or the puppy starts making a mess all over the house, and then you are frustrated with the dog or the puppy, and then you decide to figure out how to solve this problem, it's kind of too late. The dog or the puppy has already learned the behavior that you didn't want the dog to learn. So therefore, it's important for you to learn uh, what to do before you get your dog. So that's number one. Number two is, I'm just going to pause for a second just to check everything is going well. So as I said, The step one is to learn dog training and all the concepts of dogs and dogs in general and dog training psychology and uh, learning about dogs itself before you get a dog. The next reason when you should start training your dog is when you get a puppy. So when you get a puppy, is good idea to start thinking about, or even before you get a puppy, or when you know that you're going to bring your puppy home, it's a good time to start thinking about training your dog. So not only you want to think about it, you want to take action and start training your puppy actually. So one of the things that you can do is start training with a dog trainer one-on-one rather than in a group class. There are so many options nowadays. Most dog owners are confused of what to do and how to go forward with their puppy training. There are options of group or classes of puppy socialization classes, puppy training classes, puppy obedience training classes, and all these options are available. But I don't suggest to attend any of those. What you want to do, you want to start working one on one with a dog trainer to learn what you're supposed to do specifically for your puppy and your lifestyle and your own family. Figure out what works with you. Let that dog trainer who's coming to work with you figure out your dog, evaluate your dog, and figure out what your puppy needs are, what specifically they have to work on the puppy, what the problems are, and then you start working with a dog trainer one on one and learn the techniques and everything that you need to learn about your puppy and your puppy raising schedule and your puppy raising routine and all that. Figure that out. Learn some techniques. Learn some obedience maybe with the help of the dog trainer, and get familiar with the idea itself of dog training, puppy training, and then later on you can start joining a group class or group obedience class to start working on your dog. Usually it's better to join a group class when your puppy has turned 4 months or older, and that's a good time to start training your puppy. So that's one other option. So when you get a puppy, you want to start training your dog because your puppy needs training as well. So the dog trainer and one-on-one session can help you um, to deal with that problems that you have. So number one is before getting a dog. Number two is after you got your puppy. Now, number three is when you also adopt a dog, an adult dog. Usually we adopt adult dogs, not puppies. But if you get a puppy, if you adopt a puppy, you do the same thing as you've done in step two. And in step three, option two, and option three is when you have adopted an adult dog. So what do you do then? So that's when you also want to start training your dog. So again, before you adopt your dog, you want to go through option one, part one of educating yourself about dogs in general, and then choose the dog and choose to adopt a dog. And once you adopt the dog, you want to also start training your dog. This dog who have you have just adopted probably has a different story. Every dog has a different story when you adopt. They had a different situation happening to them. So they've gone through few places that they were being adopted or fostered, or they were in different shelters or homes. So they have gone through a stressful time until they have got to your home. So when you're at your home, also they may be stressed already. So it's a good idea to help them to get over this stress. So the way you help them is by starting to train them. So again, in this case, I also suggest to work with one-on-one with the dog trainer. The reason, again, I suggest you to work one-on-one with the dog trainer is because, again, you want your dog trainer to help you to pinpoint and focus on your adopted dog. Your dog, specifically what your dog needs. Every dog, as I said, has every adopted dog comes with a different story. So you want this dog trainer to help you uh, figure out the story of your dog and help you to figure out what to do and how to deal with the specific behavioral issues of your dog, and on top of that help you to, you know, with some guidance, and also help you with some techniques and also some obedience maybe. So if you work with one-on-one with a dog trainer, then you have a better chance of helping a dog, helping your dog also. So it's not a good idea to put this new adopted dog in a group class, uh, because most of these dogs are stressed already, and when you bring them and put them in a classroom environment, it causes lot more stress in the dog. It's like throwing the dog in the pool of sharks and then expect them to survive. It's just not an ideal environment or not an ideal place for a dog, adopted dog, to be. So you don't want your new adopted dog to be stressed more. So therefore, avoid group classes and work with a dog trainer one-on-one for a time being, for a while, and then go to group class later on. So that's option number three. Option number four, or case number four, is when you have a dog. So you have a dog, it could be a young dog, could be an older dog, and all of a sudden the dog has developed some form of behavioral issues. So there's two things that can happen. One is that the dog, for some reason, has developed a behavioral issue that is really bothering the dog and you, and or there has been some changes in the dog's life or your life, and that has caused some form of stress in the dog or bad behaviors. So what you want to do is figure this out. If it's something that has caused your dog to develop bad behavior outside of your control, or is it in your control? You caused it or not? If you caused it and you can figure out what it is, you don't really need to work with a dog trainer. All you have to do is change and help the dog to cope with that new change, and maybe just figure it out, and also accept that the fact that you have caused this behavior for your dog to develop because you have gone through some changes. For example, a new member of family has moved into your family, or a new family member has moved out of your family. Things like this can cause your dog to develop unusual bad behaviors, which then actually a dog trainer can't really help you in this situation. All you have to do is figure it out and be aware of it, and help your dog to cope with that new change. But if you see that you need help and you can't figure out what it is, again, call a dog trainer to come and pinpoint exactly what the problem is and come up with some solutions and ways to help you out and figure out how to deal with that issue that your dog is having, and also help you out. So in this case, you want to again work with a dog trainer one-on-one. So in general, I suggest you to work and start training your dog one-on-one with a dog trainer until you get used to the idea of what dog training is and how it's done, and then when your dog is nice and familiar with all the techniques and ideas and um, what is supposed to do, then you can expose them to group classes. So last option or last reason why you should start when you should start training your dog is when you have an older dog. Let's say everything has been going well and you have an older dog, let's say 5 years old, 7 years old, 9 years old, 11 years old, 14 years old, whatever the age your dog is, as a mature adult dog now. Now it's also a good option for you to start training your dog and get involved with training. In this case, and it's only in this case that you can get into group classes because you've done it before, your dog is familiar with it, and you're familiar with dog training and you've done it before. And now you're getting into dog training and you're getting your dog involved with dog training. And I call this refresher course or refresher dog training. The reason for that is, like many of us, dogs as well, they tend to forget things. Then they tend to forget techniques and routines and what they're supposed to do. So what you want to do, you want to get involved with dog training again. Every 3-4 years, you want to get into another course, obedience course, or whatever you feel comfortable with, even agility or anything like that. You want to get into back to training, getting involved with dog training, and get a reminder, and get involved with the idea of being trained, and your dog. You want to get also exposed to training your dog, getting being directed and told and being trained. So a refresher course for your older dog is a good idea also. So to get involved with training, or in this case, you can also get involved with group classes. You don't have to necessarily get involved with one-on-one training, dog training. So those are the 5 reasons when you should start training your dog. So one more time, I'm going to go through them. So number 1 is before you get a dog. So before you get a dog, you start educating yourself, train yourself. Train yourself as a dog owner to become an educated dog lover, an educated dog owner. Number 2, when you get a puppy, you should start training your dog. No matter what age you have you gotten your dog, start contacting a dog trainer and get involved with training your dog and getting exposed to the dog with training routine and training ideas. Number 3 is when you have adopted an adult dog. When you have adopted the dog, it's a good idea to start training right away with your dog, because then it helps the dog to start relaxing and get over that anxiety and stress that they come with to your life. Number 4, when you have a dog who has developed some form of behavioral issues out of nowhere, you feel like it. So it's a good idea to start training your dog. And number 5 is when you have an adult, mature dog and you want to refresh your dog training. So you start with a refresher course and do a refresher dog training with your dog. I hope this information is going to be useful for you. I'll have all the links and additional videos that I have regarding all the most of the subjects that I talked about, and when to start training your dog, and what you should do. I have some videos in my channel that you can go ahead and get those information in the description of this video. By the way, if you haven't subscribed to my channel, make sure to subscribe to my channel so you won't miss high quality content like this in future. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up, share, and also leave your comments and questions in the description area, in the comments area, and I'll try to answer them all as soon as I can. Thank you very much. I hope you enjoyed this live informative session, And until next time, have fun with your dog.